Agnes Gitau is a partner at GBS Africa. It's an advisory firm on investments in Africa. Agnes, thank you for joining us on TRT World. Give us some specific examples. What do you believe are the most serious accusations against the Guptas and their dealings with Jacob Zuma?
Crimes, economic crimes, to be honest, are crimes against humanity because people died. Lots of South Africans are left without employment. State corporations are at a state of collapse just because of individuals who use their position to influence their positions in South Africa. So, look, economic crimes must be taken seriously. It's not just corruption, it's the impact they have on the people of South Africa. And yes, the Guptas took advantage of a very young democracy back in the 90s, took advantage and ensured that they enriched themselves from state contracts.
From what you know, do you think that they had Jacob Zuma in their pocket, or could it have been the other way around? Because certainly it appears as if Jacob Zuma was protecting the Guptas from investigations.
You know, it's not who had who in whose pocket. Zuma's responsibility was to the people of South Africa. These alleged crimes happened under his watch. It was his responsibility to protect South Africa's investment, and he failed to do that. And whether the Guptas had him in his pocket, you know, that's a question really we shouldn't even not be asking. It is the role or the responsibility of the leadership of South Africa that fell. And not just Zuma, there are many other politicians who are implicated in this circus. And also not just the Gupta's companies. You're aware of the many international corporations who are also very much linked to this scandal. And it's a shame. It is a shame that corporations do not use the same standards as they would in their countries, and they expect to use corrupt standards in Africa. And it's a shame, and it should be called out.
About 6 years ago, it was found that millions of rand in state funds, which are earmarked for a dairy project, were actually being laundered through Dubai to finance a Gupta family wedding in Sun City. Okay, but we talk about state capture. Most democracies have laws to try to make sure that state capture can't happen. The fact that Jacob Zuma and the Guptas are accused of being engaged in this practice and weakening state institutions for their own benefit. What does it say about the state of South Africa that it appears to be so easy to do?
Do you know what? For the last 30 years, African countries, including South Africa, have been working really hard to build institutions, to ensure that our institutions are independent of politicians. And the fact that this scandal was not picked early on by South African institutions, which, according to many, are a little bit more advanced in sub-Saharan Africa. So it was a pity that politicians and corrupt corporations took advantage of weak institutions. But I'm hopeful that with the ongoing investigation, that it will probably go towards rebuilding institutions that are purely independent of these corruptions.
Did investments in South Africa dip when it was becoming apparent that strange happenings were taking place? And have they since risen back up to where you, as an expert in Africa, would like them to be?
No, South Africa has suffered tremendously. You know, under the leadership of Zuma, the economy's outlook is negative. They're likely to be downgraded to junk status by Moody's. So they have struggled. Just the impact of three brothers and a few other corporations ruining an economy that was once the biggest economy in sub-Saharan Africa is a pity. So South Africa is struggling. There are high rates of employment, high rates of unemployment, and so suddenly it will take time to recover. And you can imagine this is just because of three men who started by selling shoes and ultimately became the biggest men in South Africa.
Incredible. And who have since fled the country. Agnes Gitau, what a pleasure it was to hear what you have to say about this very, very interesting and very disturbing story. Thank you so much, Agnes.